Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining this presentation and looking at our presentation proposal here. The title of our research proposal is The Impact of Work Flexibility on Business Performance. We are group number 22, and then the five of us is under the ODL program. Yeah. For the presentation, there are four sections that we will be discussing through. Number one is the chapter one, the introduction of the problem statement. Chapter two is literature review that is done by my colleague Ibrahim, and then chapter three is the methodology, and then finally the last section is related to the attachments for the summary references and the appendices related to this research paper. Yeah. So these are all our team members: Seto Bhanu, Ibrahim Said, Prakash, myself, Lokman, and also Daniel. So there are five of us under group number 22. There's three slides related to introduction. So let me introduce the problem statement first. When we discussed earlier on during the beginning of the class, during the beginning of the development of the team, we were discussing of several potential problem statements. One of the ideas that we finally agreed on was the how work flexibility impact um, the business or the business sector, right? So during the COVID-19, there's a lot of shift globally from rigidly going to the office from 8 to 5 to working flexibly. Some of it 100% remote because remember during the COVID time we have to confine ourselves to our homes. Some of it are hybrid, so meaning that some people go to the office certain days of the week, and maybe the second team goes to on some other days within the same week, right? So meaning that to have some sort of like a hybrid, like 2 days working at home, 3 days working in the office, something like that, line, to reduce the risk of infection during COVID-19. And some of the companies, some of the businesses also introduce flexible hours, meaning that you can, for example, 7 to 9 a.m., and then you go back home within the range of typically 4 to 6 p.m., right? So they allowed like a 2 hour window for you to come to the office and return home. In totality, you still work about 8 hours in the office. A lot of benefit, eh, the way I see it, and the way we've done some research on it. In general, it affects productivity and the well-being of the employee for sure, right? And also there's concerns on the engagement and collaboration. So though there are some benefits, there are also concerns on what we call this the overall effectiveness. Yeah, there are also disadvantages, right? So this study, the purpose of this study is to explore how this model, how these flexible work models influence overall business performance across different organizations. So that's why when we for some of our team member during the uh, earlier on when we decide to come up with this proposal, we were discussing on we were reflecting on how because some of us are in the working sector, in the business sector, how different types of working models affect the performance of our working team within different companies, right? So the background of the study, uh, as a point, is work flexibility evolve into a mainstream strategy. So like it or not, point number one, before this, Before COVID, there is no such thing as what we call this hybrid remote. It's very rare or very unheard of. But post COVID, the evolution of work has since become what we call this uh, change to become hybrid. So meaning that there's a very significant change how people do work. Yeah? And point number two, 70% of global firm adopted flexible model post 2020. So this one is based on our research, right? And the OECD 22 highlighted that 70% of the global firms, businesses around the world, have adopted flexible model. If you guys recall, it's during the COVID time, it was either do or die. So meaning that if you did not evolve or did not adopt, then actually by law you will not be able to do your business. So actually during those times also there were many businesses they were not able to evolve on the way they would do business. Maybe sometimes there are certain businesses, certain work require for you to be on site. So some of these businesses they were not able to go through the COVID time. But the one that is able to evolve, and 70% of them have adopted it post 2020, meaning that post COVID. Yeah. Number three, in terms of gap, there have been quite limited empirical data on long-term performance outcome across sectors. Relatively new. It's only been about 3 years, 2, 3 years we are coming out of COVID. So in terms of data, we have still a limited set of data, but we will share what we have uh, in terms of how to see the impact of these flexible work models, right? Data is still limited, but whatever that we have gone through during our literature review and our research, definitely we will share here. The focus, or in terms of number four, the focus is for the role of the management tool. So we were discussing about this also, what kind of tools were actually available out there in order to manage, in order to administer flexible work models, and how does these tools actually influence employee behavior or influence the success of the work, and how does it impact the employee behavior that helps with the success of the work. Yeah. So the objective of this research is to examine the impact of flexibility models. So we have three: remote, hybrid, and flexi hours on business performance. Number two, to identify the key management tools in flexible environment. Right. Number three, to evaluate the effects of productivity, the job quality, and the engagement based on these flexible work models and the tools. And then number four, to explore the influence of employee behavior and other external factors. And then finally, number five, provide practical recommendations for flexible work design. So the final objective is actually to provide recommendations on how to improve what we call this managing uh, remote flexible models, working models, which involve not only the tools that we use to manage the flexible work environment, but also some leadership traits that we can consider on how to lead and manage such a remote team. Yeah. So the final slide on introduction is related to the research queries. What are the questions that arose from this research? The questions that we plan to satisfy, that we need to satisfy by the end of the research. The research query, this study aimed to assess how remote, hybrid, and flexible hour model impact business performance. So we want to study that, we want to quantify that, and we want to identify the effective management tool. We also want to identify the effective management tool that effectively manage these remote or hybrid models, right? Working models, and finally evaluate their influence on productivity, job quality, and engagement. We also want to examine employee behavior and provide practical strategies to help organization implement successful flexible working arrangements. So meaning that maybe there are some leadership points. There are some management points, administrative points that we will recommend based on these evaluations, based on this quantification, in order to improve managing work, remote work, hybrid work, and flexible hour work. Yeah. The questions that we have to satisfy is how different, how do we differentiate flexibility models, and by this differentiation, how these different flexible models affect business performance. So that's point number one. How does it affect? Yeah. Number two, what tools best support communication and engagement? So what are the tools out there? Existing what tools? Many tools that can best support communication and engagement of these remote teams. Yeah. Number three, what are the challenges that the managers, the project managers, the leaders face in managing uh, the team, the remote team? And finally, how do behavior like time management impact productivity? So behavior part of this equation, not necessarily what we call this the work the work itself, but rather the work side, or maybe the hard skills, the technical competency, but also how does the team's behavior, for example, like time management, being punctual, impact the productivity of such a hybrid team. Yeah. So I believe I will pass on to my what we call team member to continue with the literature review. Thank you so much for going through the presentation with me. Thank you. Bye.
Hi everyone. I will be talking about the literature review for this topic, which provides the theoretical and conceptual foundation to understand the topic better. We begin by defining work flexibility through arrangements such as flex time, flex place, or remote work, part-time roles, and working time autonomy. These models grant employees more control over where, when, and how they work, which is increasingly common in response to globalization, digital transformation, and evolving workforce expectation. To evaluate how this flexibility influences job performance, we examine four key theories. First, the job demand resources model, which frames the flexibility as a job resource that reduces burnout and boosts employee engagement, factors that directly influence productivity and overall organizational output. Second, self-determination theory. This theory emphasizes that flexibility satisfies employees' psychological needs for autonomy and competence. This results in higher motivation, which positively impacts innovation, quality of work, and job satisfaction, all key drivers of performance. Third, social exchange theory. This theory explains how flexibility builds reciprocal trust. When employees feel supported with flexible policies, they tend to respond with increased loyalty, discretionary effort, and retention, again, all important for sustainable performance. Lastly, the theory of work adjustment. This theory reminds us that flexibility must be aligned to employee needs. A poor person environment fit will lead to dissatisfaction and underperformance, when a well-matched flexibility can enhance job effectiveness and tenure at the same time. Moving to the actual performance outcomes, multiple studies support the claim that flexible work improves business performance, but with important nuances. For example, remote workers are shown to be more productive, adding 17 extra workdays a year while reducing costs linked to commuting and office space. However, there are also risks to well-being and work-life balance that can diminish long-term performance if it is left unaddressed. From a job quality perspective, flexible arrangements often improve satisfaction, but this varies. For instance, men benefit more from flex time and part-time work, while women may experience mixed outcome due to caregiving roles. These differences matter because satisfied employees are more committed and perform better. Employee engagement is another strong performance driver. Gallup's study reveals that fully remote workers are the most engaged, which is great for business, but they also report higher loneliness and stress, which can negatively affect continuity and morale if not managed.
Hi everyone, my name is Ibrahim Aden, and I'll be presenting section 2.4 to 2.9 of the literature review. This slide covers the management tools used in flexible working environments and their impact on employees. Firstly, communication platforms are vital. Google Meet supports large meetings with up to 250 participants, live streaming, and recording functions. Microsoft Teams also allows video conferencing, screen sharing, and meeting transcripts, although its multi-view is limited compared to Google Meets. For document sharing, Google Drive combines cloud storage with collaboration apps, while OneDrive offers secure online access with flexible sharing options, allowing files to be accessed and shared easily from anywhere. Scheduling tools like Google Calendar are user-friendly, sending reminders for events and meetings. Outlook Calendar further simplifies the scheduling by suggesting available times for participants, making task coordination efficient. In terms of employees' productivity and job quality, studies found that remote workers are generally more productive, working about 1.4 extra days per month. They experience fewer interruptions and save significant transportation costs. However, remote work comes with challenges such as slightly higher stress levels and difficulties maintaining work-life balance. Finally, regarding employee engagement, remote workers tend to be the most engaged due to increased autonomy. But this also leads to lower overall well-being and feelings of loneliness compared to hybrid or on-site workers. This slide discusses the challenges of flexible working models and behavioral factors influencing their effectiveness. One major challenge is monitoring and accountability. Traditional time-based supervision methods are not effective in flexible working settings. Organizations need to shift towards result-based management, focusing on outputs rather than hours worked. However, overly formal monitoring systems can reduce flexibility and delay decisions, while informal systems might lack consistency and reliability. Another challenge is team cohesion. Flexible hours and locations make it difficult to maintain real-time communication and build trust within teams. Irregular schedules reduce opportunities for casual peer-to-peer support, for casual peer support, which is crucial for shared accountability. Without strong IT infrastructure and clear processes, business continuity and responsiveness can suffer. Moving on to employee behavior and external factors. Research shows that employees' commitment is key. It partially mediates the effects of flexible working arrangements on performance and fully mediates their impact on innovation. This means that flexibility alone is not enough. Employees need to feel supported and engaged to perform at their best. Externally, small and medium-sized businesses adopt flexible working practices to stay competitive in dynamic markets, and ICT helps them adapt quickly to customers' and suppliers' needs. Both employees' commitment and market responsiveness are essential for successful flexible work models. On this slide, we present the research model and hypothesis that we developed for our study. In designing this model, we positioned work flexibility as our independent variable, as it is the core factor we're examining in relation to employee and business outcomes. Our model proposes that work flexibility has a direct positive effect on both job satisfaction and business performance. However, we also believe that flexibility affects performance indirectly. It affects performance indirectly through job satisfaction. This means that employees who have flexible working arrangements are more satisfied with their jobs, and this increased satisfaction leads to improved business performance. Furthermore, we included organizational support as a mediating variable. We hypothesized that when employees perceive high levels of support from their organizations, the positive relationship between work flexibility and job satisfaction becomes even stronger. Based on this model, we developed 5 hypotheses. Number one, work flexibility has a significant positive effect on business performance. Number two, work flexibility has a significant positive effect on job satisfaction. Number three, job satisfaction has a significant positive effect on business performance. Number four, job satisfaction mediates the relationship between work flexibility and business performance. And number five, organizational supports moderates the relationship between work flexibility and job satisfaction such that the relationship is stronger when organizational support is higher. Overall, this research model reflects our understanding that flexible work arrangements alone are not enough. Their success depends on employee satisfaction and the support provided by the organization to fully translate flexible to fully translate flexibility into enhanced performance outcomes. Thank you.
Everyone, I am Seto Bhanu from Group 22. So today I'm going to little bit explain about our third chapter, which is about the methodology. So in this chapter, the methodology that underpins this research project is comprehensively explained. The discussion is structured into 11 key sections that outline the entire research process from conceptualization into the analysis. So the first section that we're gonna talk in methodology are about research setting. So this study is conducted within a medium to large size organization or company that has implemented flexible work policies for at least 1 year. This ensures the organization has had time to integrate this policy into their daily operation. The setting allows for realistic understanding of how such flexibility affect employee productivity, job satisfaction, and overall business performance. And the environment that we choose are the organization use digital communication and collaboration tools, enabling the practical application for flexible work. And our focus area are in employee productivity, retention rates, job satisfaction, and operational efficiency, financial performance. The next session that we gonna talk in methodology are about research paradigm. So research paradigm is a belief system that guides the research is conducted encompassing ontology, epistemology, and methodology. So paradigm influence how reality is perceived and how knowledge is acquired. So the paradigm that we use on our research proposal are using positivism paradigm, which is it developed by Auguste de Comte that emphasize observation, measurement, empirical validation. So it assuming an objective reality that can be studied using scientific method, suitable for quantitative study using survey, hypothesis, and statistical analysis. So why we choose the positivism paradigm? It because positivism paradigm are aligned with the quantitative nature of our research, focus on objective measurement of variable, enable hypothesis testing and generalizability, and suitable for examining cause-effect relationship. So the application on our study are investigate the impact of work flexibility on employee productivity, operational efficiency, and business performance indicator. So application on our study also use statistical tools to draw objective conclusion based on the measurable data. And the next section are we talk about the research design. We using mixed method. We are combining around quantitative and qualitative study. For the qualitative study, we are using interview and thematic analysis. And for quantitative, we are using survey and regression analysis. And we also use cross-sectional, single organization, and multiple department. And for ethical consideration, we are informed consent, voluntary participation, and confidentiality assured. And the next section about methodology are we talk about population and sampling. And for the target population consists of employees from various departments and generations within the company. This individual must have experience using company flexible work system, such as a remote access, scheduling tools, or hybrid models. By focusing on this group, the study ensures participants can provide meaningful insight into how flexible work impacts their performance, engagements, and job satisfaction. And for sample size and sampling techniques, the minimum sample was calculated using G-Power software, which account for the number of predicted desired power and effect size. With 6 predictor and a medium effect size around 0.15, the required minimum sample is 98. To enhance the robustness, the final target is 150 respondents. A proposed sampling method is used. These techniques select respondents who are most relevant into research specifically, those currently working under flexible arrangement, and for temporary and contract employee are excluded to maintain data reliability. And for our data collection procedure, data collected using an online questionnaire developed in Google Form, ensuring convenience and wide reach. The survey link is distributed via WhatsApp and email broadcast, a practical approach that allows the researcher to send messages to created group of eligible participants while maintaining consistency. And participant is voluntary, anonymous, and designed to protect respondent confidentiality. This ethical approach is aligned with standard research protocol and ensure the integrity in this data collected.
Hello everyone, my name is Danial Firdaus and I'm in charge of Chapter 3 Methodology from 3.7 until 3.10. And without further ado, let's get right into it. First, we have the measurement instrument. Our study used a structured questionnaire to measure 4 key constructs, which is work flexibility, job satisfaction, organizational support, and business performance. The instrument included a 5-point Likert scale to capture respondents' perceptions and used nominal, ordinal, and interval scales for demographic and behavioral data. It was divided into 5 parts, from basic information to more advanced construct, so that we can ensure the coverage of all key variables. Next, we have the section 3.8, which is the testing of questionnaire. Before launching the full survey, we conducted a pre-test with 10 respondents. Their feedback helped us fine-tune the clarity and flow of the questionnaire, especially wording under organizational support and sequencing of questions. This process confirmed that the instrument was easy to complete and valid for large-scale distribution. Next, we have the section 3.9, which is preliminary data assessment. Once all the data was collected, we cleaned and screened it. And we have found that there was no major issues, such as missing data was minimal and handled statistically. Outliers was also reviewed and multicollinearity was not present. The dataset met the assumption required for analysis using PNSM. Moving along next, we have at 3.10, we have statistical analysis. We analyzed the data using Smart PNS 4.0. This method is suitable enough for complex models and smaller sample sizes. The analysis was carried out in 3 steps: assessing the measurement model, testing structural model, and evaluating a moderating effect. We proceed with the measurement model. We confirm that all constructs met the required threshold for reliability and validity. Composite reliability scores were strong, AVE values were above 0.50, and discriminant validity was confirmed using both Fornell-Larker and HDMT ratios. Let us proceed with the structural model. Our structural model showed good explanatory power with R-square values of 0.52 for job satisfaction and 0.63 for business performance. All 4 hypotheses were supported with work flexibility significantly predicting both satisfaction and performance. Up next, finally we have the moderating effect. Finally, we tested whether organizational support moderated the relationship between flexibility and job satisfaction. The effect was significant, showing that the relationship is stronger when employees perceive high organizational support. This supported our 5th hypothesis. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
And for the next section, we're gonna talk about our questionnaire design. So the objective on our questionnaire design is to collect that quantitative data to assess the impact of work flexibility on business performance. The first section are we talk about the demographic, which is around gender, age, generation, department, employment status, year of service, and position. And the next section we gonna talk about work flexibility practices, the type and frequency of flexible work around remote, hybrid, flexible hour, and compressed week. And for the third section, we talk about the job satisfaction, measure impact of flexibility on motivation, autonomy, and work-life balance. For the fourth part, we talk about the organizational support, managerial support, resource communication, and policy clarity. And for the last section, perceived business performance, its effect on productivity, efficiency, engagement, abstention, and turnover intention. And for the questionnaire, we already do it on Google Form and we already spread to the WhatsApp and Gmail. And you also can access to the link that I embed on our report and on our slide. So for our questionnaire, we are using 5 scale of score. So the first score are mean strongly disagree. Number 2 are mean about the disagree. The third one are neutral. The fourth are means agree. And for the last highest score, which is 5, are strongly agree. I think that's all from us from group 22. Thank you.